there's two ways the brain works. First way the brain works really as a producer. So as a producer, I'm just hunting, right? I'm hunting the next target. I'm just in the zone, right? I'm knocking down the dominoes. I'm doing what needs to be done. On the flip side, though, there's a side of me that's the creator.
Hey, this is Blake Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years. Our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
The problem with the creator side is, guess what? I use a different part of my mind. So sometimes when I'm in the work mode, it's hard for me to be creative. Does that make sense for you guys? It's hard for me to see certain things while I'm just hunting down the next domino. And so part of what this is to do is I want to ask myself the right questions to shift my mind a little bit so I can see some things I couldn't see before. And the creator side, this is going to allow me to see, all right, here's where the holes are in my business. Here's where the opportunities are in my business. Here's what I need to really look back and reflect on so I can see things I couldn't see. How do I help you get outside of your body and look into yourself from the outside in? And that's the important piece here. The first part of this, I'm going to look at my strengths. What are my strengths looking back the last 12 months? What am I actually the best at? Like, what are my strengths looking back the last 12 months? What gave me leverage? And all these things in this section are just all within. Don't worry about anything on the outside. Don't worry about the market. Don't worry about the business. Don't worry about anything else. Just you from the inside out, because I'm helping you get outside your body and look back out from the outside inside so we can see some things we couldn't see before, and we can turn up the notch on some and obviously go fix some others. Weaknesses. What are my weaknesses? Looking back the last 12 months and me truly understanding, take my ego, put it in my pocket. What are my weaknesses in terms of how I've shown up the last 12 months? What are my weaknesses in how I've shown up as an agent, as a business person? How have I really shown weakness in somewhere? Where do I need to improve? Some of you it's going to be sales IQ. Some of it's going to be scripting. Some of it's going to be sales psychology. Some of it's going to be high-level stuff. Because everyone's in a different place, you got to be able to step out and look in and figure out, okay, where am I missing?
Vocabulary.
That was something I was just thinking about a minute ago. Some people are stuck where they're at because they're doing pretty good and they're not developing themselves any further. Right? So a lot of people are stuck, and instead of just doubling down on books and doubling down on tapes, they're just staying the same thing. They've been dealing with the same problem for 2 or 3 years. And so it's important for me to have the ability to step out and ask myself questions, right? Questions what help me give myself perspective. You should slowly feel your brain kind of switching over to this place of inquiry. It could be past client follow-up, database management, CRM management.
Confrontation.
There you go. Confrontation. Right? My ability to collide. What else? These are good. Discipline's one. Consistency is a big one for a lot of people in this room. Days worked, hours worked, dials, copywriting, follow through. What's follow through, you think? How's follow through different than follow up?
Doing what you told a client you would do.
That's one way. There's follow up and follow through. Follow up is when I call somebody once or twice and they follow until they miss. Follow through is when I follow up continually until they either buy or die. Or sell or die. And so it's important for me to really step back and look and say, over the last 12 months, where am I dropping the ball at? Where have I have complaints at? Where do I see myself? Where are the holes at in my bucket? So just keep that going and just take some time to gain perspective here and really be obsessed with where am I missing at in the last 12 months? Where are my biggest weaknesses in my conversion? Okay, it's really going to be conversion. If some people can be conversion on past clients. If you look at some, their client referral efficiency ratio is not as high. I need to have 1-to-1, right? So if I sold a past client, I should get what? 1 referral. So I want to track that. And then the year, if I sold 24 deals, I should get what? The next 12 months? 24 referrals. That's the ultimate minimum goal. And I want to train my people that way. Is my psychology towards my clients not programming them to send me referrals? And so that's a weakness, a hole in the bucket right there. So some people are just thinking different layers that they're not really, they're still at 101, but 303 is, hey, how do I program my clients to send me referrals after closing from the very first time I meet them? That's a massive hole in the bucket. Okay? Same thing, we're missing a lot of sellers. The sellers aren't sending us much referrals. Some are every once in a while. We want to make sure we're pushing hard for that overall in that scenario. This will help you for number 3. If I went all in here, right, and I had some stuff, don't be afraid to let your ego down right here and be true and real and raw with yourself. Looking back the last 12 months, I'll tell you what most of it is. Consistency. Showing up. Huddle attendance. Most people are just going through the motions without speed. And he talks about in the video, you can outrun anything with speed. He gives an example of a business they were in that wasn't profitable. If you made enough more money and new deals coming in, it didn't really matter if you made a profit or not because you had speed on your side. And so for some people, maybe speed is my weakness here, where I don't have enough speed, so I have no consistency, and I can't outrun my problems in my life. Other weaknesses could be what? Personal life. Partying. Right? Too many things. Drama. All these things that could have looked back, and so a lot of times we tend to block out these things in our mind over last year. And so take some time over the next 3 or 4 days to really have some self-inquiry of like, look, where have I really kind of had some weaknesses this year that I need to work on? Okay? This is going to give you some opportunity to open the mind up here. I'm building on these. The next way here is opportunities for growth. What are the biggest opportunities for me for growth in my own business? I'll try to get 5. So what could some examples of that be, you think?
Referrals, training, consistency.
Yep. The one I was looking for, a lot of people, is consistency. Right? What's my minimum commitment of huddles? What's my minimum commitment of just being here? So my minimum commitment of working X amount of weekends or doing X amount of open houses or whatever it is. There's an opportunity there that I have to create leverage and fill one of those holes in the bucket. Because all these past clients who aren't getting called, and here's the thing, most people think they're following their past clients. If you look at the traction of actually tracking in the back end, they're not getting called every quarter like they should. And so where are my opportunities here in that standpoint? Some people can do more open houses, right? What else can it be? A lot of people are just doing just the basic enough to get decent at real estate, and they're not obsessed making it a lifestyle, right? My education and learning has to be a lifestyle. There's a reason I'm on a call every Monday for 4 hours almost. There's a reason I'm on a coaching call every Wednesday. The reason I'm always reading books and listening to these things, because I'm trying to make growth always happen based on where I'm at, because I'm trying to break through that next ceiling or plateau that I get stuck on as a leader, as a businessman, or whatever it is. And so for some of you all looking into next year here, where are my opportunities for growth? Again, this is internal and what I control on the inside of me. I like that because even though we think we're doing enough, it's not enough. Right? Same thing, social media, buddy. You got to get that one going because people are looking you up, right? It's important to make sure we're running this. What else we have? Opportunities conversion. It could be likability. For a lot of y'all, too, it's going to be consistent follow-up. You know what I know about most people is they follow up and then what they do? They stop following up. They follow up and they let off the pedal. They follow up and let off the pedal. And so there's no consistency with the client or the potential client. So all of a sudden, they lose trust in you as the agent and they go with someone else who's a little bit more consistent but may not follow up just enough as much as you do. Yep. And I've been reading about this a lot lately. You know this word that's been shown for me a lot lately is cadence. Anybody know what cadence means? It's like the rhythm in which I'll follow up. And so a beat's like the same thing consistently, right? And so I feel like that the consumer really feels a cadence from us versus something that's very sporadic. And so when it's very sporadic, they're not feeling very trustworthy in terms of us because we're just showing up here and there. We're the person who has a very, very good cadence where it's like a beat, boom, 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 always following them. And all of a sudden they feel comfort and comfortability in how we follow because I have the right cadence. And so that's what I'm really going to be trying to work on next year, first quarter, is how do I build the right cadence on the seller side and also on the buyer side so that we're consistently hitting these people the right way and they can feel us. So for example, day 1, XYZ happens. Day 2, XYZ happens. Day 3, XYZ happens no matter what. And so we're able to make sure we can build around that. Does that make sense? And so for some of you all, it might be cadence in my follow-up, both with my leads, my clients, and my past clients. There's got to be 3 separate cadences, right? My leads who are not really converted to a signed client yet, my signed clients who I tend to A lot of times I made this mistake where I signed them and forgot about them. I waited on them to come back to me. And then the third is obviously my past clients. And so we're all missing out on a shit ton of those. But I will say that as this market has changed, past clients is going to be probably the biggest point of opportunity for anyone. If you have past clients. Same thing with your sphere. Some of you guys haven't accessed your sphere at all because you're still scared. Fourth piece here. What are the threats? What are the threats to my business? What do you think that means?
Comfort.
Comfort, big one. That's number one. Comfort. What else? Freedom. That's very true. What else? What's that? Capacity? Yeah. You get overwhelmed with whatever it is? Yeah, let me ask y'all this. You ever seen anybody scared to call you on Sunday?
No.
No, you know what I'm saying? So for us, we want to have that piece to understand, look, how do I help question my thoughts and my stories here? A lot of this can also be my stories, right? My mentality, my victim mentality, whatever it is, my stories. I want to make sure I'm understanding what it is. A lot of times, too, it's going to be discipline. He's talking about motivation. He said motivation doesn't really exist in any way. He said there's just people that have the discipline to do. He said, me, I'm not the person who wants to accept my place in life being a loser because I have a namesake to live up to, and I don't want to be disappointing my parents in how hard they fought to become somebody and help me have a life that I can live, right? That was a summary version, but it was pretty powerful. If you guys didn't listen to that one this morning, I go back and listen to it. It's pretty strong. He just talks about motivation is not real. But discipline is, and I can have that discipline that pushes me through that. Or if I don't have discipline, that's okay. You just got to accept your place in life as being a loser. That's kind of what he said. It was like, oh, I never heard anybody put it that way. All right? So it really kind of opened up really that thought process in there. And so this right here is called a SWOT analysis, right? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. I want you guys to go through and circle the top one or two in each one that really you need to make sure that you focus on in Q1.
That is not enough last night.
Right? So for you, it's going to be what? Eating quality, good foods.
Yeah.
Specific bedtime, make sure I'm going to bed, and working out and doing something physical, right? Because as I have my body fight in the morning, guess what? My body becomes able to fight. It's more weaponized against things that come about.
Yes.
It's important. Sometimes you can do it, or God will make you choose it, right? I mean, it's one of those things that you just got to, you can do it on your terms, you can do it on God's terms. I like doing my terms early, you know, because a lot of times it tends to be not as convenient the other way, you know. And so a lot of times we got to be, hey, look, how do I weaponize myself? And some of y'all it's going to be weaponized in the thing, because I was going to teach on this a little later, but the cornerstone for everything all comes down to our body. And then the level in which we can achieve in business, all is built on the body. Why? Because that's where all the discipline is. Right? So if I don't, and some people have natural abilities, they do pretty good, right? But they don't have the discipline in their body, which means that's why most of them tend to go and they plateau very easily, because they don't actually push through, because they don't have the discipline to push through the plateau.